to offer respects, offer your realizations and appreciations. So within our ISKCON society, we have many initiating groups now. Srila Prabhupada is the central unifying figure for us all, that we all come to, in every ISKCON temple, of all disciples of many devout gurus. They'll come to worship and respect Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada gave the vision and the guidance and the teachings that established the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. And he said that his books will be the law books for the next 10,000 years. So this ceremony we're doing now for Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada's appearance on this earth was within recent memory, at least for us old timers. But this ceremony will be conducted by the disciples, grand disciples, great grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada for thousands of years. So before I read my own offering, we'll just say a few words about Srila Prabhupada. His activities and his travels, there are many wonderful memoirs by devotees who had his close personal association. I very highly recommend reading those. I was not one of those fortunate souls, but I did have the great good fortune to be in Srila Prabhupada's physical presence on several occasions when he came to give lecture from the Vyasa or Tindaratha Yatra. What I'd like to speak on is, I'm dubbing these the two nutshell instructions that form the modern Krishna consciousness movement. So in the Bhagavad Gita, we have the four nutshell verses beginning with Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. In the Bhagavatam, we also have the four nutshell verses beginning with Aham Evagram Evagre from the second canto. So there are two very important instructions that Prabhupada received from his spiritual master that, from my way of thinking, Prabhupada expanded unlimitedly to form a great worldwide movement. The first one was his first meeting with his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Now at this time, Prabhupada was then Abhay Charande. He was a young householder, 25 years old, had a young family. His first son was just born the previous year, and he was just finished his education a couple of years earlier. He had a very young wife. His wife was only 15 years old at the time. She'd given birth to their first child at age 14. This was the custom. The girls would be married young. They'd be married even before puberty, but they wouldn't live with their husband till puberty. They could come and have a child. So Prabhupada was has a new job. He's a responsible manager at a big chemical plant. He's a follower of Gandhi for Indian independence. And his friend Narendranath Mullik, his friend wanted him to go. He was all excited. He wanted him to go see this sadhu that he met. And Prabhupada, by this time, he might have had a slightly jaded opinion of the sadhus of his time. He'd seen, when he was a child, his father was always hosting sadhus who would come. And Prabhupada saw that many of them were not very sadhu-like. They practically just put on saffron cloth to make a living as a beggar, or they were addicted to ganja. So his friend Narendranath wanted to bring Abhay to see this sadhu, and Prabhupada described it. He actually had to drag me there. So, Abhay and Naren, having both come from Vaishnava families, when they went up to the rooftop, this rooftop in Calcutta, and there was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and they offered their obeisances. And when they got up, without any formalities, hey, how you doing, how you been, where are you coming in from? So you're educated young men, why don't you preach Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message throughout the world? Now, I don't think that was the only, these were the only people he ever gave that instruction to. But Prabhupada took it to heart. Here's Prabhupada's own description. When my Guru Maharaj ordered me to spread this movement to the English-speaking countries, I did not know how I could do it, but I never lost faith, nor did I ever forget this order. I accepted him as my spiritual master immediately, not officially, but in my heart. He brought me some way or other in preaching this gospel. So this is a memorable day. What he desired, I am trying a little bit, and you are all helping me. This is actually heart-rending. Prabhupada's recalling his spiritual master to his disciples. And he's actually thanking his disciples for assisting him in fulfilling the order of his Guru Maharaj. So I have to thank you more. You are actually representative of my Guru Maharaj. And here Prabhupada started weeping, because you're helping me in executing the order of my Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much. Now, I can assure you, not one of us, of his thousands of disciples, were thinking, oh, Swamiji, I've been sent here by Bhaktisiddhanta to help you. No, Prabhupada was everything for us, as he's everything for all the devotees in ISKCON today. Prabhupada took that order to heart. It was actually the volume 1 of Satsvarup Maharaj's Prabhupada Leela Amrita is aptly entitled A Lifetime in Preparation. So Prabhupada, actually, you could examine his life from that point on as preparing himself for this tremendous mission he was to carry out. So the second, that was the first nutshell instruction. Preach Lord Chaitanya's message throughout the whole world. The second one, some years later, in 1935, in his room at Kunja Bihari Mat at Radhakund, Srila Saraswati Thakur spoke a few words to Abhay Prabhu that would alter the course of religious history, and you could argue will also alter the course of world history. So that instruction was, if you ever get money, print books. So these I call the two nutshell instructions that formed the Krishna consciousness movement for Srila Prabhupada. Preach Lord Chaitanya's message throughout the world, and if you ever get money, print books. So Prabhupada was very adamant. He was so enthusiastic about this instruction. He was printing books even before he had money. Now, how many people knew that Bhagavad Gita as it is was not the first English commentary on Bhagavad Gita that Prabhupada wrote? Some of you, yeah. When Prabhupada was still a householder, he had written a complete manuscript he entitled Gita-upanishad, and he was trying to get it published. It was completed at least by 1946. And in 1949, he had a very promising person who expressed willingness to finance the printing of this book. So this is a big opportunity. Then something terrible happened. The manuscript was stolen. He had 1,200 pages. Imagine how much work went into this. 1,200 pages, and he had kept it safely in his house, and it mysteriously disappeared. He suspected maybe a servant or a family member had sold it, tried to sell it for money, but it was never actually solved, remained a mystery. Now, a lesser person might think, well, okay, I tried. Krishna doesn't want me to do this. Just imagine Prabhupada's determination that after all this work, 1,200 pages, and it's gone. This work he must have been working on for years. Prabhupada was not deterred at all. He continued writing the rest of his life, wrote another commentary on Bhagavad Gita as it is, which we have today. All his books, the Bhagavatam, everything. So, recently when I was here, I told the story of how Ramananda, by a chance encounter with an executive at Macmillan Publishing, arranged for the publishing of Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. So, the first Bhagavad Gita that was published looked like this. This is a replica that BBT printed in the early 2000s, but this is an abridged Bhagavad Gita. Macmillan didn't want to print the whole thing so this doesn't have this Devanagari text, doesn't have the word for word, and doesn't have a lot of the purports. But this is what they were willing to publish, so they printed this. It sold very well. I'm sure mostly to the temples who were distributing them. So a few years later, Macmillan decided to publish the entire Bhagavad Gita. It looked like this, except it was bigger. It came in both hardbound and softbound. The hardbound had a dust cover, and it was. I remember seeing it in a bookstore. Macmillan placed it in bookstores, and devotees were buying them in large quantities and selling them at the temples. I think practically all the business was through the temples. That maybe they sold a few in the bookstores. But there was a problem. By this time, 1972, Prabhupada had formed his Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, and he wanted the BBT to print this book. The problem was Macmillan held the rights, exclusive rights to publish, and they held those rights as long as the book was in print. If it went out of print for so many years, I don't remember the number, the right to publish would revert back to Prabhupada. So, to get the rights to the book, that means they couldn't keep buying them from Macmillan. As long as the temples kept buying them, Macmillan would keep printing. So Prabhupada, this is quite a plan. Now, Prabhupada still had the right to publish the abridged book. So Prabhupada went to Japan. He personally negotiated an amazing contract with Dai Nippon, which is a very large printing company in Japan. And the book that was produced was this. This you might have seen, originally it had a nice yellow dust jacket on it, but good quality printing, gold embossing, 51 full color plates, quality paper. Prabhupada ordered 1 million copies. 1 million copies. And he had this amazing deal with Dai Nippon. Dai Nippon never gave credit to foreign purchasers. But Prabhupada got credit for them. He didn't have to take delivery of the whole million at once. He could take 100,000, 200,000 and pay as he went. So, and it was also very cheap. I distributed this book in large quantity in parking lots across the Midwest, and we could let them fly. The numbers I heard were BBT bought them for $1, and the temples bought them from BBT for $2. So we're getting these books for $2, and we could distribute them liberally. This particular copy actually belonged to my father-in-law, who was a Christian missionary in India, and he had some interest in Indian culture, so one of his friends gave him this book. My wife had it when I met her. So the amount of elapsed time passed, The right to publishing reverted back to Prabhupada and the BBT. And the BBT published this book, which you all know. This is the edition that's standard now and through all the ISKCON temples that we distribute and read. So that's a brief history of the printing of the Bhagavad Gita. Now, I'm going to read my own offering to Srila Prabhupada. This is called The World Acharya. You came across the sea alone, far from your Vrindavan home. Your Guru's order in your heart, Chaitanya's cult to all impart. To this realm of us fallen, faithless and fools, where darkness covers and passion rules. You brought Bhagavatam's bright light to all nations, you being the Bhagavatam's personification. In Boston Harbor, before your ISKCON was displayed, "O Lord, make me dance as you like," you prayed. You sang and danced to Krishna's song and taught the world to sing along. How was it possible, future historians will ponder? Without friend, money, or support, alone he wandered. Yet he quickly raised an army across every land to build his movement and distribute his books to every woman and man. Surely he was empowered by the divine hand. You brought the sacred mantra of Lord Krishna's holy names. Wealth, beauty, knowledge, strength, renunciation, and fame are unlimited within these 16 words, which purify and melt stone hearts of all those who have heard. Personal Godhead, the timeless truth, made afresh for modern times. We're all God? God is one? God is dead? No! You obliterate these crimes. To every town and village, Mahaprabhu calls, regardless of caste, creed, or color, deliver them all. Prabhupada, you're the one who took that order, went worldwide across every border. You circled the globe 14 times in a 12-year span, undaunted by advancing age, from Vrindavan to Tehran, LA to London to Lucknow, Puri to Fiji to France, DC, Detroit, Denver, Durban, and Dallas. You taught us all to dance. Berkeley, Brooklyn, Bombay, Boston, Bhubaneswara, Butler too. You taught what we'd forgotten. We thought it was something new. Mombasa, Geneva, Gainesville, Jakarta, Madras, Glasgow, and Gorakhpur, Montreal, Mexico, Mauritius, Miami, Moscow, Melbourne, and Mayapur, Port Royal to Pittsburgh to Hamburg, Johannesburg to Jaipur to Japan, San Diego to Surat to Sydney, Seattle to Stockholm to San Fran, Chicago, Caracas, Cleveland, Calcutta, Columbus, and Rome, New Orleans, New Delhi, New Vrindavan, New York. You bring new life wherever you go. Nellore, Nasik, Penang, Pune, Navadvip, Nairobi, Laguna, Tirupati, Tokyo, Sanand, Toronto, Santa Fe, Cincinnati, and Ipoh, Vishakhapatnam, Kuala Lumpur, Schloss Rettershof, Kurukshetra, and Kyoto, Rishikesh, Houston, Paris, Perth, Potomac, and Buffalo, Amsterdam, Atlanta, Aligarh, Amritsar, Ahmedabad, Allahabad, Hastinapur, Hong Kong, Honolulu, Hyderabad, Philly to the Philippines, and everywhere in between, to Maryland, Scotland, Auckland, Portland, and many other lands. You sanctified each place you went and fulfilled Gauranga's plan. You planted seeds of bhakti each and everywhere you trod. They fructify and multiply to this day and beyond. You opened 108 centers, oases from the confusion of Kali's degradations and Maya's gross delusions. You wrote and published 80 books, a cultural presentation to bring peace, friendship, and prosperity to all future generations. Re-spiritualization of whole human society, you planned for their salvation. And as Krishna's world acharya, you've given the foundation. But how to guide the broad society? You say Varnashrama is key. But how do we get from here to there? This we still seek to see. We beg from you the wisdom and the strength to bring the essence of your vision to the masses. Oh, we so much miss your manifest presence. Prabhupada, you gave us everything we need to go back to Godhead. transcendental knowledge, the holy name, deities, kirtan and prasadam, a society of devotees, principles to live by, a purpose in life. We got them. So how can we repay you? In reality, no way. Still, let me attempt, I pray. Please make me your instrument, purify my heart. Let today be a new start, to give myself to your divine service and make my life complete. With all the humility I can muster, I fall down at your lotus feet. Your servant, Vishvatamukha Das. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
So, next will be Brajendra Kumar Prabhu, followed by Marisha, followed by Rasvidra Prabhu.
And just came to find out that Vishnu Prabhu slept last night in his car in the temple property. So, Haribo.
It didn't make any sense to drive an hour home, sleep 2 hours, and drive an hour back.
You could have afforded accommodation, but you didn't know. From the car.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Happy birthday to you, Srila Prabhupada. I want to share a couple of memories of Srila Prabhupada that I heard this morning. So my preparation is shaky, but one is from Radhanath Swami. A few years ago, they were celebrating Madhvacharya's appearance there in Udupi with all the acharyas of that time present there, starting with apparently one of the most famous ones. His name is, I forget the name, but the most prominent one was there along with all of the Madhvacharya sannyasis. And apparently that line of Sampradaya is very strict and very learned. Nobody fell down in 700 years, it seems. And that Acharya stood up and glorified Madhvacharya first, and then the next Acharya he started glorifying was Srila Prabhupada. He said, in all these years, the teachings of Madhvacharya have never left the shores of India until Srila Prabhupada went. And he said, he glorified Srila Prabhupada a lot, but one of the things that Radhanath Swami mentioned was, he said, all of the acharyas who are sitting here, including me, if all of us were put together into one personality, we would not be greater than the grain of sand at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada's disciples who are spreading the message of Krishna. So that's how grateful we should be to Srila Prabhupada, because his teachings are very valuable. So thank you, Srila Prabhupada. That's one memory. And another short memory, his teachings, it's like he doesn't give us anything more than we need to know or anything less than we need to know. Apparently Bhakti Vikas Swami, he was told by one of his godbrothers how to do his Gayatri mantra. He was being told it needs to be X number of minutes before sunrise, X number of minutes afternoon, and then X number of minutes in the evening, and what direction his thumb needs to face, and all of those kinds of details. But the next morning when Srila Prabhupada was giving the lecture, he told all of his disciples who got the Brahmin initiation, you need to do this Gayatri mantra in the morning, at lunchtime, and in the evening. Simple instruction. So, and that's what I want all of us to remember, Srila Prabhupada's teachings have everything we need to know. No extra details, nothing less, nothing more. So, thank you, and Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki. So next will be Marisha, followed by Rasvidra Prabhu, followed by Krishna Prema Prabhu. So, Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada, he has many qualities, and you can talk about each of these qualities for hours. But one quality I've been thinking about recently is Srila Prabhupada's compassion. He had everything set up for the remainder of his life, living in Vrindavan, that's the ideal. But because of the order of his spiritual master, he decided to come to the Western world, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. This Western world is so degrading. But he came just to deliver the fallen souls. Srila Prabhupada, he says in the purport of Bhagavad Gita 2.1, compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. So not only did he have compassion, he had the right type of compassion for the soul. So I wanted to share a beautiful pastime, and this is told by Rajendra Nandana Prabhu in the Memories books, volume 4. So it was the beginning of 1977. Prabhupada was in the Bombay temple. He was very sick. He had stopped all food intake. His body had only bones left. And yet he was insisting that he wanted to go to London. As always, he was adamant. At this time, one Pandit from Bangalore named Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya came to know about Srila Prabhupada's situation. So he took a flight from Bangalore to Bombay, which in those days was a huge thing for a Brahmin priest. And he met Prabhupada and asked for a private meeting. Generally, no one was allowed a private meeting, but when he said that he specifically came by flight from Bangalore to meet Srila Prabhupada, he was allowed a private meeting. Sampat Kumar said, Swamiji, I am feeling very pain that you are suffering like this. Prabhupada, who was lying down, said, the whole world is meant for suffering. Dukhalayam asvatam. Sampat Kumar said, but still, Swamiji, there are so many people depending on you. So when you suffer, they suffer. Prabhupada said, what can I do? Bhattacharya, Swamiji, I want to tell you something. In Vrindavan temple, they are having your deity on the altar, and all kinds of people are coming and praying to it and offering flowers to it, and you are still living. According to Pancharatra, when the Acharya is living, if he puts his deity on the altar, then all the sufferings people are having come to his body through the deity. So please tell your disciples to worship your deity only after leaving your body. Now he was speaking as if he was giving some, new information to Prabhupada, which Prabhupada did not know. Prabhupada said, I know, I came here to take their suffering. Bhattacharya was shocked. He was not giving any new information. This was well known to Prabhupada, and he was determined to suffer for others. Prabhupada, do you have anything else to say? Bhattacharya, Swamiji, if that is your wish, what can I say? I am only a priest. And Prabhupada, he said, even when I leave, I will keep continuing taking their suffering and make them free so that they can keep chanting Hare Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada, he's so compassionate. He's just taking all of our suffering, everything. He's so merciful. And all he wants us to do is chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And that's Srila Prabhupada. He has eternal compassion for the soul. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So next will be Rasvidra Prabhu, followed by Krishna Prema Plavana, followed by Ishan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshadarine. Hare Krishna everyone. Prabhupada is the best. There is no match, at least in the words that we know. When I was thinking, I was making one statement. Prabhupada, to speak who is the best in the three words that we know, I would rather speak nothing and stay silent, because whatever I speak, it will not be the best, but I still, because of the service given, I'll try my best to do it. On this auspicious day of Srila Prabhupada, I want to bow down to you for giving us a great gift of Krishna consciousness. You taught how we can fully depend on Krishna no matter whether it's a good time or a bad time.
It's easy for us to remember God, Krishna, when things are going bad. We immediately go to God and then ask to resolve. But you taught us it's not only the tough times, you also pray to God and show gratitude for all the good things that are coming. And you also taught me how to be compassionate with all the living beings, including animals. Especially I was doing meat eating before, but you helped me to correct myself. And you have given a greater family under the umbrella of ISKCON, where people of different cultural background, color, country, language, everyone come together who can live, holding everyone's hand, and we all can still move forward because you gave the common thread, which is loving Krishna, the Krishna consciousness. And on top of everything, this is a cherry. Achieving the most complex thing, we think that we have to find a solution, which is even that's going to be harder. But go back to Godhead is the most toughest we could ever think that there is no solution. But you gave us the simple tool of chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I may take time for me to become a true soldier of yours. At least I know I'm in the right school, I'm going in the right path. Prabhupada, please help me and support me and people around me to touch you with our hearts and your books, and then please take us back. I'm going to close with one simple incident I heard a long time back, and I was trying to find the source, but I could not, but I'm just going to tell. Prabhupada one time was traveling from probably Calcutta to Mayapur to Calcutta the other way, and in a car. So in the middle he took a break and they sat under a tree, and Prabhupada was given a small place to sit, and Prabhupada was relaxing, and he was eating some channa, probably nuts or channa he was eating. And in the place behind Prabhupada there was a dog which was barking all the time. Prabhupada felt compassionate, and then he threw one channa into the back, and the dog jumped and caught it, and that was it, right? And he went to whatever destination, and while coming back, it looks like he stopped at the same place, and the person who was taking care of that farm, he came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, Guruji, the dog that it caught some channa when you throw, it died yesterday. So just imagine what Prabhupada touched was eaten by unknowingly because the dog was hungry, and it still got liberated. It's not the death we're talking about here, it's going back to Godhead. Now all of us we are holding what Prabhupada has written with his own hands. So we are holding, no matter what, we all are going to go back. Prabhupada is going to take us and lead us. It's just we may go on a different time in a different planes, but we all meet again there. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki. So next would be Krishna Prema Pavana, followed by Ishan Prabhu, followed by Nimai.
Hare Krishna. Namo Shivaya Krishna Savarade Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharya Nevrishesha Shrimuvada Parshita Deshitarine. So, we talked a lot, and I have a feeling that a lot of the Vyasa Puja offerings are going to be talking about gifts, and this one's going to be no different. So, when you think about many relationships, you have husband and wife, brother, sister, mother and child, which is often called one of the strongest bonds in the material world. The closest that you can actually see to love for Godhead is the love between a mother and a child. But there's another relationship that we can see that's actually very close, and there's almost very rarely any animosity. It's only always positive in every aspect, and that's the relationship between a grandparent and their grandchild. So this is an offering to my spiritual grandfather as I'm his grand disciple. one of the best gifts that he could have given me, of course, the Mahamantra and everything that it goes with Krishna consciousness, but for me personally, the gift of kirtan, and specifically the gift of mridanga, the drum that Mahaprabhu advented 500 years ago. Two little things related to mridanga. The first is actually in relation to Srila Prabhupada and his reaction when the first mridanga was shipped over from India to the West, came in a large box, and then as soon as it's unwrapped and revealed to Prabhupada, the 70-plus-year-old man was gone. Immediately reverted back to a small boy. That's like the equivalent of like when you have a child who's opening a present for Christmas or a birthday gift. Ripping it open, seeing that it's there also, that it was uncovered, first instant reaction, get a cloth, wrap the mridanga, and then there's described it, he's just like playing with it, doing all his different TIs. Like you never forget how to ride a bike. And just that sheer love and compassion for that instrument. And then in the first recordings, when he's singing bhajans, he actually has to play for himself before his disciples are able to learn, which ties into what I want to read and share. This is a memory from Bablu Das. So in the Kirtan circle, Bablu Das is one of the instrumental devotees who actually began to instruct devotees in the proper use of how to play the mridanga traditionally. So he was growing up in India and he learned the traditional method under a guru for several years. When he met Prabhupada, he was just a small boy in Mayapur. And when Srila Prabhupada was singing bhajan, he would actually play what he was learning. And this basically, in his memoir, he said that he was pleased with my playing and advised me to continue learning mridanga and to teach his disciples as they came to Mayapur and came to the West. And this is the specific quote that he told to Bablu that really resonates with me. It is so important, our Gaudiya Vaishnava culture. Without mridanga, we have no background. Nothing goes without mridanga. So that has two meanings in my understanding. There's of course the understanding that the mridanga itself, ISKCON, is nothing without the drum. Mahaprabhu's mission would not exist without that drum. But also, when you think about how Prabhupada took it into context, Harinam Sankirtan goes around non-stop in Prabhupada's mind. It has to continue, every town and village. That's how the mridanga takes it to the streets, but at the same time to actually let people know who is Mahaprabhu, who is Radha and Krishna. The mridanga is the door that opens that library, and then in that library you have Grihat Mridanga, which are Srila Prabhupada's books, which both of them go hand in hand. You can't play mridanga without reading Srila Prabhupada's books. You can't read Srila Prabhupada's books and talk about them without engaging in kirtan. They both have to be together. You cannot do one without the other. So on today, I want to thank Srila Prabhupada for both those gifts. We have Grihat Mridanga, the books, which created the foundation for ISKCON. And then of course, we have my heartbeat. So, my literal heart is beating right now because I was born into ISKCON. I wouldn't be born into ISKCON if it wasn't for Srila Prabhupada. So, I know my heart beats huge.
So next is Ishan Prabhu, followed by Nimai, followed by Gopi Bhav.
Oh. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the opportunity to speak a little bit. So, again, I'm not very good in improvisations, but I was just going to share what I think every day. That Srila Prabhupada wants to save the world. He didn't come just to save some group or some country or whatever, a village, no. actually we all know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said every town and village will chant Hare Krishna. And we would like to be a servant of Srila Prabhupada to be able to reach that prophecy, to reach every town and village. So that's what I think, that's what I learned all the decades, is that we need to share this message to everyone in the world. Every day, every second, someone is leaving this world without the knowledge of who is Shri Krishna, Radha, Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the only way is to organize. When Srila Prabhupada was leaving, and he was asking, please continue this movement. And what are you going to do? And everybody, we're going to chant, I'm going to do this. And Srila Prabhupada said, no, organize. Because you have to organize to be able to spread. So organization and intelligence. So in this day, I just want to remind myself of the service ahead of spreading this Krishna consciousness to everyone, everywhere, in all situations. And I think we all should do that. Like Prabhu was saying about the Mridanga, and there's the Prihat Mridanga. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said that the Mridanga, we can hear to certain range, but the Prihat Mridanga, which is his book distribution, we can reach so far, so far. Thank you so much, Jai Srila Prabhupada, and Sankirtan Ki Jai.
Prabhupada ki. So next will be Nimai, followed by Gopi Bhav, followed by Radhika Rupa.
So I'm not qualified to speak on anything, so I'm just going to read a memory from this book. It's Prabhupada Memories Volume 2. You said you got yours from Volume 4. I just opened to a random page and read the quote, and I thought this was very nice. So this is Mahabodhi Prabhu speaking. At the end of February in 1975, Prabhupada went to Atlanta on tour. First, he had gone to Mexico City, then to Caracas, then Miami, and then Atlanta. At the library party, the Radha Damodar party, and practically everyone else from all over America converged to see Prabhupada in Atlanta. The devotees in Atlanta were installing Gauri deities. Prabhupada said, I visited the temples in those other cities, and now I'm visiting Atlanta, and I can see that this temple is the best. Everyone went, Jai Prabhupada. Of course, Prabhupada encouraged everyone by saying something like that everywhere he went. Then Prabhupada stood in front of the beautiful Gauri deities. He looked at the deities, not as we look at the deities. Prabhupada actually saw Gauri. Prabhupada said, these two lords, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, Gauri, they are very, very merciful. Paramakarana. They are even more merciful than Lord Krishna. Krishna is very merciful, but Lord Chaitanya, he is more merciful. Then Prabhupada went into ecstasy. He choked up and said, please serve them very nicely. Thank you. Prabhupada was seeing Gauri. We were worshipping Gauri and trying to understand that they are non-different from Krishna himself. But Prabhupada was seeing Gauri, and he was so appreciative of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya that he went into ecstasy. All of us were stunned by the emotion Prabhupada felt for this room. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So next one.
So Nimai, this young devotee, sometimes you won't see them speaking elaborately or, in big talks. They are totally following service attitude, service actions, and Nimai distributed 4 Bhagavatam sets yesterday. what we can see from some of the sincere followers who may not seem like a Prabhupada disciple, but they're taking the mission seriously to their heart. Thank you, Nimai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So next would be Gopi Bob, followed by Radhika Rupa, followed by Max.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschimoteshtarine. So, one thing I want to tell about Srila Prabhupada is that he was always leading by example. I haven't heard this memory in a while, so correct me if I'm mistaken, but one time Srila Prabhupada came to the temple room, whatever, it might have been after some festival or something, but the floors were kind of dirty. So, but the devotees had already cleaned it, they had already mopped it, and Srila Prabhupada comes and sees how they're mopping, and he says, this is not right. So Srila Prabhupada goes down on his hands and knees, gets 2 pots. One pot is for clean water, and one pot is for dirty water. And he gets a rag. He puts the rag in clean water, cleans the floor, and then after that, that same water goes into the dirty bucket. You squeeze all the water out. And then in this way, Srila Prabhupada was showing his disciples how to clean the standard of cleanliness that he wants for the temple. Another time when Srila Prabhupada was leading from example is especially on Janmashtami days where we're supposed to read the Krishna book. Srila Prabhupada said we should spend practically the whole day reading the Krishna book. That's the whole point of Janmashtami. So one time, Srila Prabhupada said, let's read the Krishna book. And the devotees were like, Prabhupada, you wrote the Krishna book. Why do you want to read it? I mean, I understand if you want us to read it. But Srila Prabhupada was always reading his own books. So it's really amazing that Srila Prabhupada, even though he was doing all these things, he still had to show everyone the proper level of respect that you should be giving to everyone. And in this way, he inhibited it, showed it in his life, I guess, to everyone. So thank you so much. What is it? Exhibited. So he showed it to everyone in his life. And it's so nice. And that's why we see everyone who saw Srila Prabhupada, their lives were forever changed because they saw the qualities he had and they saw the way he treated people, the way he treated his disciples, and how clean he kept the temples. Hare Krishna.
So next we'll have Radhika Rupa, followed by Max, followed by Sunil Prabhu.
Last night I was talking to one of the devotees, and something we were talking about is like developing skill sets. And as a child, it's very easy to learn so many things, but something you see with Srila Prabhupada, even at his older age, 70 years old, he learned so many things. You can see so many qualities of Srila Prabhupada, the skill sets that he had. He was like an entrepreneur, a businessman, a manager, even a producer. There's a few albums under him. And then he was an author. He wrote so many books. He was a teacher. He was even a therapist. In his old age, he came to the Western world, and he encountered so many new problems that he's probably not experienced. But you see all of his disciples and everybody close to him was still very transparent about where they were in their spirituality, and it was very easy to always go to Srila Prabhupada and confide in Srila Prabhupada. You can see even Srila Prabhupada was a health advisor. He knew how to take care of everyone's health. He knew how to take care of his own health. He was the ultimate cleaner. He did everything, and he was the prime, I guess, piece for propagating Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. And it's just with all of these qualities in everything that he does. It's not that he knows a little here and there. He's first class, Pukka. He does everything so amazingly. And like even in his goals and his in fulfilling that instruction of a spiritual master, you see, like I don't know, a really nice book is like Chasing Rhinos with the Swami, and just seeing like Srila Prabhupada, he always aims for the biggest things. He never settles for anything less. Like even before he even came to the West and started like thinking of preaching in the West, he would like reach out to like government officials in India and always try to, you know, always connect with the highest people in India to teach them Krishna consciousness. And then he came to the West and he went to everyone. He even would try to, you know, get the UN involved in this preaching of Krishna consciousness. And I don't know, like nowadays, like in a world where like we live with, where like celebrities are so popular, like he even, you know, got the Beatles to get Sugar Tea and give so much to the Krishna consciousness movement, which is a very big deal. He I don't know, something that Shamasundar Prabhuji, he was discussing about Srila Prabhupada and like the disciples in that time is Srila Prabhupada, he was doing all of this and writing letters every single week to all of the disciples. And this is how he taught all the disciples. He was describing that the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, the devotees, they would all live off of two things. They would live off of these letters from Srila Prabhupada, and they would live off of enthusiasm. And I don't know, it's kind of nice to see, like, even now, like, once a week, we have this ability, like, all the devotees back then, they would congregate and just wait, anxiety building throughout the week. What is Srila Prabhupada going to say? What is Srila Prabhupada going to share? And then that one day, they would all join together in the temple room and just read these letters from Srila Prabhupada. And like here, we can kind of do that too. And Srila Prabhupada has given us the facilities to, you know, develop that enthusiasm, you know, like give us a little taste every Sunday. And then we come back, like throughout the week, we're just anxiously waiting and building our own enthusiasm so that we can come back and continue to serve Srila Prabhupada and have the desire to want to share this message, this Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message with everyone. So thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki. So next will be Max, followed by Sunil Prabhu, followed by Avi Prabhu.
So, just wanted to share a few pastimes today. Kind of related to the point that Srila Prabhupada is the most exalted figure in this material universe. He's here to save all of us. But what does Srila Prabhupada consider himself? Only a humble servant and nothing more of everybody. So the first short pastime, he was doing some lecture in the early days, and this was the days when Allen Ginsberg, the poet and kind of eccentric person, was following Srila Prabhupada and going, you know, broadcasting his message a little bit. And somebody asked him with kind of like a challenging mood, said, "Aren't you Allen Ginsberg's, or are you Allen Ginsberg's spiritual master, guru?" And Srila Prabhupada just bowed his head. He said, I'm nobody's spiritual master. I'm everybody's servant." That's all he said. And that kind of silenced everything for a while. Second pastime was back in San Francisco, I believe. This was told by Madhuri Das, his disciple. And he's saying that every Sunday, some old ladies from the neighborhood used to come to the temple. And because they were old and, you know, they had arthritis and everything, Srila Prabhupada said, okay, these old ladies, they're coming every Sunday. Don't make them take off their shoes or anything. Give them some nice chairs along the back. Everybody's sitting on the floor. Give them some nice chairs. They don't have to take off their shoes. And in those days, when they would do kirtan, they would kind of circumambulate the whole room. And they would go for a while, and then Srila Prabhupada and the gang would come across these old ladies. And Prabhupada would stand in front of them and go, Haribol, Haribol, and they'd jump out of their seats, Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. And go back, and again, Haribol, and they'd jump, Haribol. So you pay special attention to this. Just old ladies that were coming to see what it was all about. And the third one, I don't know the disciple specifically, but I don't remember. But Srila Prabhupada was sitting across from this disciple, and this desk was there. And the disciple was feeling a bit awkward. There was like a little bit of silence, he didn't know what to say. And Srila Prabhupada just kind of jumped into the spiel. And he told the disciple, okay, so we have to figure out what our duty is here. All times, we have to know what our duty is. And Srila Prabhupada said, my duty is to figure out, look at every living entity around me and figure out the specific way I can serve them. He said, do you see this ant? Srila Prabhupada, do you see this ant? My duty to this ant, what I have to do is figure out what my duty is to this ant. Maybe I can lean down and say, chant Hare Krishna to it, or give it some prasadam. But anyways, whatever living entity, I have to figure out how to save it. And if any single living entity can become Krishna conscious, then this movement becomes a success. So no matter what, no matter who, Srila Prabhupada was there to serve them, help them. That's it. So Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai
Srila Prabhupada ki. So next will be Sunil Prabhu, followed by Avi Prabhu, followed by Sanaya.
Srila Prabhupada. So, the glories of Srila Prabhupada are unlimited, and he has done unlimited flavors to the disciples, not only to the disciples, but anyone who is like in touch with him through the disciplic succession or in general who knows about Srila Prabhupada, they can feel that. So, I was just thinking about a couple of pastimes of Srila Prabhupada when he moved to US or New York and then trying to preach Krishna consciousness to the Western people. And then he started that with like kirtan using his kartal, and then slowly he invited people to his room and then started serving prasadam. So I was thinking, like, at the age of 70, Srila Prabhupada cooking him by himself for those people, and then like serving, cleaning, doing everything. I mean, that thought itself gave me like some pain, like how he can do at that age. So it's about Krishna, how he gave his like physical strength to him to do that. So because here we are doing like with so many people doing that service, and then Srila Prabhupada doing a lot. Another one, he had like a lot of affection for anyone who gets in touch with him. He used to love them all. Like once he fell very sick, and then the disciples took him to New York, and then the doctor suggested that Prabhupada, you should not be like doing so much chanting or spiritual activities, rather you should do like some physical activities. Then the devotees got not happy with that kind of statement from the doctor, but Srila Prabhupada told them, no, he's not telling that. Krishna is speaking from his mouth. So whoever he sees, he will see Krishna in them. So that's kind of inspiring, and that is the way we should take our devotional service. Whoever we see, we should see Krishna and then try to serve him. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki. So next will be Avi Prabhu, followed by Sanaya, followed by Bhajagovinda Prabhu.
And the devotees who speak, please offer your obeisances, maybe at least after you speak, not in the beginning, but definitely to offer your obeisances proper after you speak.
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Puchanda Nirvishesha Shindari Pashatarish. Srila Prabhupada ki. So first time I met Srila Prabhupada, he came in a wooden box. So you probably heard this before. In Trinidad, I was probably like 10 years, and this box came to the temple. And then when they opened the box, there was a man sitting in there. I was like, is he alive? I was amazed because I was only 10. I was like, how did he remain breathing? How was he alive in there? Because, you know, it came from, I think, America or India. I can't remember where. I'm pretty sure. But it was Atlanta. And as we can see today, Srila Prabhupada is still alive. Because he was, when I was 10, he was alive in that box when he came out. And ISKCON is flourishing, so Prabhupada is still alive. And I think he would be very grateful for that. On this auspicious day of your divine appearance, Srila Prabhupada, our heart is overflowing with gratitude. You left the sacred land of Vrindavan and traveled to the west at an advanced age with no wealth, no friends, and no certainly only your unshakable faith in order of your spiritual master. Because of your boundless compassion, millions, including myself, have been touched by Krishna's message. You did not simply translate the scriptures, you infused them with your pure devotion, making them alive, and for all who heard and read them. Your disciples remember you not only as a great acharya, but also as a person of simplicity and humility in everyday life. So one memory of Srila Prabhupada at the Bangkok airport. One time in Bangkok airport, when there was no showers available, without hesitation, you simply bathed in a sink. This was told by Sukriti, yeah. You simply bathe in the sink, pouring water from your lota and covering yourself with a gamcha. When people looked on you, when people looked on in surprise, you only smiled and said, "But I had to bathe. I was feeling very tired." In that moment, you showed how a pure devotee never fails and never feels inconvenience, always peaceful, always fixed in service. Another memory of Srila Prabhupada. Once somebody asked about prasadam, Mr. Prasadam. When asked about prasadam distribution, you smiled and said, "Yes, give them prasadam. They will eat, they will never leave." And the devotees laughed because they knew it was true. Though something as simple as sanctified food, you give the world a taste of love for Krishna. Your courage inspires us when we feel weak, Your humility humbles us when we feel proud. And your instructions give us direction when we are lost. Today, on this sacred day, we pray for the strength to follow your teachings sincerely, to develop a heart of service and to help spread Krishna consciousness to every town and village, even in a small way, wherever we are. I offer you these humble words from my heart. Srila Prabhupada, you crossed the sea, so souls like me could be set free. Your books, your words, your gentle light turns darkness into sacred sight. You have given my life's truest aim to chant and love the holy name. On this day I vow and pray, please guide my steps and protect my way. All glories to you on this blessed morn. May your mercy, by your mercy I'm reborn. Abhaya Charana Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. So next will be Sanaya, followed by Bhajagovinda, followed by Sanjana.
Letter to Upananda, August 6, 1970. Our society is like one big family, and our relationships should be based on love and trust. We must give up the fighting spirit and use our intelligence to push ahead. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. So next will be Bhajagovinda, followed by Sanjana, followed by Parvati.
So, for my offering, something I want to kind of bring to light is the genius of Srila Prabhupada, the intelligence, and in many ways you can see it even just throughout his life, the different businesses, different exploits that he was able to succeed in. But in the context of us here in the West, something that he did, he was intentional with every decision that he made, especially regarding the distribution of his books. The devotees have talked about that, the page number, the font used, the artwork in all of these texts. Every single thing was scrutinizingly designed by Srila Prabhupada. He had influence in everything that went into these books for the purpose of making philosophy popular here in the West. Especially at that time, philosophy was not popular, Selling books already hard enough. Selling books on philosophy, almost impossible. But Srila Prabhupada made the impossible possible. He was a marketing genius. And even in his dealings, you can see how expert he was. I know we've heard already kind of some of his dealings with other people and reporters especially. Oh gosh, I feel like, because reporters, they have this weird way of talking where, oh, but are you sure that this and that? Just the way that they talk, reporters are there to just jab at you. It's like, reporters have the cattle problem, they're just poking. It's what they do best. They poke at you to get a reaction. But every reaction they got from Srila Prabhupada was the nicest interaction, the sweetest interaction. One just very quick example of this. There was a reporter, he was a news reporter I had seen the video of. The reporter came up to him and said, Srila Prabhupada, you know, what was it? How do you justify driving around in nice cars and having nice watches and having nice things? And Srila Prabhupada's response, you know, very simple. If it's offered, why not use it? Reporter retorted, because they always have something to come back to. They always got to come back with something. I understand that this practice is very self-denying. Srila Prabhupada shut it down immediately. Self-denying? No. We do not deny the self. If something is to be offered, we use it in Krishna service. Simple. Allow Srila Prabhupada. His message is always so simple, but so powerful. Simple yet powerful. On the topic of other scholars as well, Bhakti Tirtha Swami, he spoke about his experience with other scholars, especially in India, Sanskrit scholars, professors, because for better or for worse, whether they agreed or disagreed with Srila Prabhupada, everyone had respect for Srila Prabhupada. It's said that even with the Srimad Bhagavatam especially, the scholars, a lot of scholars, they won't touch the Srimad Bhagavatam. They avoid Bhagavatam like the plague. Why? Because it's so confusing. You know, we have Krishna in the Gita, we have Krishna in the Puranas, we have Bhagavad Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and for so many of these scholars, philosophers, you know, they have no idea how to rectify all these different dealings of Krishna. How can Krishna have so many different dealings and so many different? So they don't touch. But again, they recognize that Srila Prabhupada, in taking the undertaking of tackling Srimad Bhagavatam, and so expertly as well, was, even for those that disagreed with the purports entirely, didn't believe the philosophy, they respected what he did. Bhakti Tirtha Swami, there's one story that he told, just kind of showed the influence Srila Prabhupada had. Because again, a lot of supporters, but also some people not so supportive. Bhakti Tirtha Swami, he went into the office to meet a professor, and he was carrying one of Srila Prabhupada's books. So I'll very quickly, professor saw the book, he started fuming, eyes wide, started turning red. Didn't even say anything initially. Bhakti Tirtha Swami, oh my goodness, maybe I should just leave. But professor looked at him, get out of this room. I know those books, I've read all of his books. If anyone reads those books, I will be out of a job. He took Srila Prabhupada's mission personally. And it's true. Srila Prabhupada is here to change minds, change hearts, raise consciousness. And he recognized in his line of work, if Srila Prabhupada's mission is successful, materially, he's finished. Finished. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada. So next will be Sanjana, followed by Parvati, followed by Samadhi.
Hare Krishna. So I guess I'll just start my offering. Creating an international society for Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada truly knew what it meant to actually inspire the people. From a small global storefront in New York to now a global society, he transformed hearts everywhere by the purity of his words. In his letter to Bhagavan on January 10, 1970, he wrote, "They are not my words, as I have repeatedly informed you that I am simply the bearer of the message from Lord Chaitanya through the disciplic succession, and I do not make any addition or subtraction." That was his secret. Perfect faith in the words of his spiritual master and the established teachings before him. Srila Prabhupada showed that real success in spiritual life doesn't come from our own ability, but faithfully carrying out the order of the Guru. He taught us the duty of a pure devotee is to transmit the spiritual truths without adding or subtracting anything. Once, a small pastime, I guess, at Kumbh Mela in 1976, a devotee began chanting Bhaje Hare Krishna, changing the Mahamantra slightly with that one word, as he sang it. Even though this initial word was a mumble, Srila Prabhupada heard this and immediately halted the chanting and said, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra must be chanted just as it is. Nothing should be added to it and nothing should be subtracted. Maintaining Srila Prabhupada's mood of preserving the holy name and the words of the spiritual master, we can all learn how to practice unwavering commitment to our spiritual master and committing to this movement, to Srila Prabhupada. So today, let us glorify Srila Prabhupada not just with our words, but by trying to carry even a drop of that mood of surrender and service in our own lives. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. So next will be Parvati, followed by Samandi, followed by Forrest.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our spiritual master who crossed continents to teach us transcendental knowledge. It's a great mercy to be able to practice and continuously learn from Srila Prabhupada's teachings. All glories to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who at an advanced age gathered the strength to sail to the West with the purpose of helping more conditioned souls to learn how to return to Krishna's abode. All glories to our Siksha Guru, who tirelessly dedicated years to translating the books that allows us to understand transcendental knowledge. Without his efforts, we would not have been able to learn about Krishna consciousness. All glories to the bona fide representative of Sri Krishna. Without seeking wealth or any reward, he embarked on a journey that transformed the lives of countless spiritual souls. The spread of Krishna consciousness to numerous countries is a proof of the authenticity of his mission when he arrived in America to share this knowledge. On the sacred day of his Vyasa Puja, we honor his unwavering dedication and commitment to help us learn about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Prabhupada ki jai. So next will be Samandi, followed by Forrest, followed by Navya.
To begin with my offering, I would like to talk about Prabhupada's tolerance towards his disciples. When he came to preach in America, he knew how fallen the Westerners were, and he knew, like all conditioned souls, they were prone to having imperfect senses. One example is with his disciple Devananda. When Prabhupada was in his office with Brahmananda Maharaj, Devananda entered without paying obeisances, and his hair had become all matted. He started speaking nonsense and appeared to be intoxicated. After a few minutes, Prabhupada said, "If you want to come back, you do like him," and pointed to Brahmananda Maharaj. "You should shave your head and face, put on a dhoti, and then it's all right, you may come back." Devananda refused and said, "No, this is not why I'm here." At last Prabhupada said, "Get out." It was so amazing how he just tolerated Devananda's behavior and had even offered to accept him back. But when Prabhupada saw that he had no interest in accepting instruction, he mercifully sent him away before he could commit more offenses. There was also this quote I'd like to read. For the devotees of the Lord, there are always many difficulties for propagating Krishna consciousness among the non-devotee demons, but we must learn to tolerate all the difficulties and push on regardless of whatever obstacles may be presented. I will forever be grateful to Prabhupada for giving us his books and for giving me a second home. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai. So next will be Forrest, followed by Navya, followed by Rupini Padma Mataji.
Hare Krishna. My dearest Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, our ever well-wisher. All glories to your divine appearance through which you blessed the world with your never-ending compassion. On this sacred day, I bow in gratitude for all you have given, not just for me, but for the entire world. You came to us fearless, unwavering, in carrying the word of Mahaprabhu across oceans. You transformed lives with the nectar of bhakti, and now the holy name echoes across every corner of the world. You established temples, you translated text, and cultivated a community lucky enough to know true service to Krishna through you. Prabhupada, I am full of faults and often forget your instructions. In this world of Kali Yuga, you are a guiding light. You gave purpose where there was confusion, and you gave us the most beautiful gift, Krishna. On this most holy day, I pray you never take your mercy. I pray I never take your mercy for granted. May I always remember that I am your servant, and may my every word and thought be an offering at your lotus feet. Please bless me that I can remain in your service, loyal to your instructions, and in the association of your sincere followers. Srila Prabhupada ki.
So next will be Navya, followed by Rupini Padma, followed by Krishna Varna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, Srila Prabhupada had so many transcendental qualities, but I want to bring attention to his selflessness. Srila Prabhupada didn't have to come to the West to spread Krishna consciousness. He was doing fine in India with his family. But he came here anyways, for his guru and out of compassion for all the souls that were still stuck in Maya. He did so much just to help us, people that he didn't even know. He taught all the devotees that he just met to cook, clean, care for the deities, play the instruments, and we owe it to him to try our best to serve Krishna and to serve him. Srila Prabhupada has already done the hard part, and he gave us all of these resources. The least we could do is use them to the best of our ability. It's all because of Srila Prabhupada that we have this opportunity, so we should make the best of it. Srila Prabhupada ki.
So next will be Rupini Padma Mataji, followed by Krishna Varna, followed by Shri Tulsi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Vishnu Padaya, Srimati Jayapataka, Swami Iti Namane, Namo Char Padaya, Nitya Prabhupada, Gauragat Danta, Nagram Tarane. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Vishnu Padaya, Srimati Bhaktivedanta, Swami Iti Namane, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravat Pacharane. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashakti Sthavane. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Sri Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, I would say that wishing Srila Prabhupada a very happy Parents' Day, happy birthday, and I just want to mention that I don't know how. One time I had heard Ishan Prabhu speak about Vyasa Puja, and he had said, "What would have happened to us if Prabhupada was not there in our life?" So I'm just going to divert my life towards myself and my family. So Prabhupada came to me for good 17 years. I got married in 1993. Yeah, and 15 years I was married, like a normal materialistic life, I was leading. And in 2008, Prabhupada came to me through the computer, where the old time desktop computer. And I just was typing. I came to America in 2002, and 2008, I was really fed up, and I was typing, "Who's God?" And Prabhupada came. And I always mention this, maybe I didn't do it last year, but when Prabhupada came and I heard one lecture of his, then it was lecture after lecture. And I felt as if, like Prabhuji said about the grandfather, grandfather. Yeah, like I felt as if, my grandfather is not there, but my grandfather has come to me now. So my family was wondering what's going on. You're hearing lectures, on the desktop. So, I felt so much of relief, and especially being a mother. Like I'm a dual mother because I have two daughters. One daughter is everything is fine. Other one has autism. She has her challenges. So I was like so much always perplexed in my life. But it was like when Prabhupada says a quote that Krishna consciousness is like a oasis in the desert. So basically, when I heard Prabhupada's lectures, I felt I got something in my life, and all the life which I led before that was just, I don't know, it's like a cat and dog life, I would say, like Prabhupada says, we all like two-legged animals, he says, for a lot of people who are not following four regulations, who are not chanting. So, then right after that, the blessings came, Bhagavad Gita came to me. And right after that, then Trivikram Maharaj and Ishan Prabhu came to me. Devotees came to me through the temple. And right after that, some more Shiksha Gurus, Dwapar Prabhu and Shraddha Mataji came to me in my life. And it was like a journey going on. And then Shraddhaji Mataji encouraged me to start chanting. That was another whole story. She was the one who gave me the beats. And I just started from, and so, but everything, the root of the tree is Srila Prabhupada. Because I know if Prabhupada had not come to me through the old time computer hearing classes, I would have not connected. So when they say that Prabhupada is living in his books, we better believe this. Because Prabhupada's Vani, his books, it's all alive. And anyone connected to him, no one should say, oh, Prabhupada is not there, so Prabhupada was there. Prabhupada is there still, and I'm so thankful to the disciples, the Western disciples, especially I'm very thankful, who, did the recording and everything. So, I'm sorry because I focused everything on myself, but that's how Prabhupada touches in my life, and I have no qualification to speak about Prabhupada, and the more I speak is less. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
So, sorry, I lost my place. Krishna Varna Mataji will be next, followed by Sri Tulsi Mataji, followed by Annapurna Mataji.
Here. I didn't expect to talk today. So when I was thinking, so after everyone, everything about Prabhupada, there's not much to say. And the only thing I think is everything I am today, I own Srila Prabhupada. And I think it's important, one point I think, is about the Vaishnava etiquette. And it's how Prabhupada taught us to have a relationship with the devotees. And this is important because we have to, highlight the devotees' qualities and just to glorify the devotees as well with the same way. So we glorify Prabhupada and glorify the deities because the devotees are the one that are serving each other and serving the world. And I think this is my thought today. Thank you.
So next will be Sri Tulsi Mataji, followed by Annapurna Mataji, followed by Vaishnavi.
Hare Krishna. How Prabhupada came in our life is through his books. I was looking for the Bhagavad Gita. So after a few days, my friends came and they gifted me Bhagavad Gita as it is. In that book, it was a bookmark was Prabhupada was in his last time translating Bhagavatam with the devotees. The picture was there. I was thinking, who is this person? I don't know, in this age he was translating. So after watching Abhay Charan, I saw the picture in the video, then I detected, oh, this picture I have in Bhagavad Gita as a bookmark. So Prabhupada was distributing Back to Godhead magazine in India, right? When he was old, like above 60. So at that age, it's very hard to go and preach. He went not for his benefit, he went to preach for the benefit of all of us. He came here to Western world because people are following Western worlds. And Prabhupada came here and preached Krishna, who is Krishna, and introduce and make more people to become devotees of the Lord, right? So Prabhupada is the best gift in our life. Usually in olden days, we give up our all responsibilities and we want to retire and relax, right? At that age, we don't know what to do. Watching TV and everything, it feels bored, right? But Prabhupada showed a path how to engage our old age. Like we can stitch for dresses, we can cook for Krishna, and we can read books. And when the grandchildren comes, we can preach about Krishna, right? When we are preaching, at least we should know. We cannot tell them the stories like it's like a, what do you say? Superstitious. Because my parents are following this, we have to follow. Before preaching them, we have to learn what is it. We have to understand, then we can tell them, right? So it's the best gift Prabhupada gave us. So I was thinking in old age, how can I spend my life? I don't worry how I am going to spend my old age. I got a path, what to do. So thank you, Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki. So next will be Annapurna Mataji, followed by Vaishnavi, followed by Oscar.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So, words are not enough to say thanks to our father, Prabhupada. Prabhupada and Harinam came in my life when I was 3 years old. And my father arranged Mundan function in India for me and my brother. And it was like Prabhupada, he just started one temple in Delhi. And my father invited them on my Mundan ceremony. And it was so wonderful. Like I didn't remember, but I saw the pictures of devotees having kirtan and discourse of Prabhupada. So it was very faded memory. But I tasted Harinam. My senses tasted Harinam when I was 3. So, and then after that, yeah, I forgot because nobody followed up on me. My father was not Krishna conscious, but he was Brahman. Then my son came in my life. And again, one more time, he introduced me to ISKCON because he loved coming to ISKCON, dance and chant with devotees. I can say that being a single parent, it is really difficult to raise kids, especially when you have to balance between materialistic and spiritual life. But our father, teaching us as a mother, teaching me as a mother, how to raise a son, how to raise my son, or how to raise our kids as Krishna conscious, as a better person and a good human being. So we are very fortunate that we have this legacy of Krishna consciousness in Western country. Because in India, in each and every corner has temples and everything. But here we are very fortunate that we got this opportunity to come chant Harinam. and read books, be in Devotees Association. And happy birthday, Srila Prabhupada, and thank you so much for everything. Hare
Srila Prabhupada ki. So next will be Vaishnavi, followed by Oscar, followed by Palash.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So today on Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, I was thinking about what really inspires me most about him. And there's so many incredible things that Prabhupada accomplished. He wrote volumes of books, he started temples all over the world, he met with leaders, scholars, and what moves me the most is the small personal ways he cared for people. After Prabhupada came to the US, he was already 70 years old, living with barely any money and trying to teach young people who don't even know about Krishna and try to deal with all the things that young people did at the time. And yet every day, he would walk to the store, carry heavy bags of rice, flour and vegetables up the stairs, and then spend hours cooking for them. He would make huge feasts and serve everyone prasadam with his own hands. And many of these young people didn't even understand the philosophy, but they came only for the food. Before starting chanting, before reading books and all of that, they'd come back for Prabhupada's prasadam. And slowly through that simple loving service, their hearts changed. They began to chant, they began to ask questions, and they began to feel Krishna's presence in their lives. And what inspires me about this is that Prabhupada didn't just see himself as a teacher or an acharya, but he saw himself as a servant to everyone. Even though he was so advanced, even though he could have been giving lectures every day, he chose to cook for them, chose to clean, chose to serve prasadam. And through that, he showed that bhakti is not just about big achievements, but it's about how we treat each other with compassion. For me, it's a reminder that even the small things we do in service, a smile, a kind word, cooking for someone, sharing prasadam, can actually teach people's heart in deep ways. Prabhupada's example makes me want to serve service not as a burden, but as a privilege. So on this day, I feel so grateful to Prabhupada, not just for the books in the temple, but for showing us how bhakti is lived in the everyday moments of our love and service. Thank you.
So next will be Oscar, followed by Palash, followed by Niraj Prabhu.
Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutala Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namam Namaste Saraswati Devi Gurvani Prajapani All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, I'll start off by saying I'm very fortunate to be here in this temple with all of you devotees, and this would not be possible without Srila Prabhupada. I often think as I come in here, this is my home, and again, I thank Prabhupada for that. I am often amazed at the amount of devotees there are here in America and the amount of temples that there are, and I will continue to go back to it. I don't think that would have been possible without Prabhupada, and we are fortunate enough to be here and serve in his mission and continue his vision, and by his action, by his books, he has shown us the way. Coming here from India and it not being the easiest voyage over here and not having much direction other than just to come here and spread Krishna consciousness, it showed that Prabhupada had a lot of resilience, a lot of faith in the movement and Krishna, in his guru, and yeah, it's amazing what he was able to do because of his devotion. And the last thing I would like to say is just thankful, Prabhupada, for all the time and effort you put into your books and how important Prabhupada books is in reading Prabhupada books, and how Prabhupada wrote this like years ago, but yet it's still so relevant to what we are experiencing now in the world. So I just find that super fascinating that Prabhupada was able to convey the message the way he was able to convey the message, and how it's a beautiful thing, Prabhupada. So I'm very grateful, Prabhupada, for all that you have done in showing us the way. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki. So next, actually, Niraj Prabhu will go first. Then Palash Prabhu, then Praveen Prabhu.
So with timeline wise, it's 12 o'clock offering, Prabhupada is gonna go on. 12:15 we'll have Pushpanjali. So
Hare Krishna everyone. So to start with, right now I was thinking about what I can say about Prabhupada and how I came in contact with Prabhupada. Right, again, I was working in Kolkata. I stayed there about 9 years. But again, I had never heard about Prabhupada or ISKCON at that time. How unfortunate I was. Then when I came to US, I went to Detroit Temple and I got to know about ISKCON. Then I visited Kolkata and I saw everywhere Prabhupada's board is there. It says, come and be happy. You are in the birth city of Prabhupada. So the meaning is, we have everything around us. It's just, we have to open our eyes and see. I did not know about those things. Prabhupada traveled all the way. I got to know about Prabhupada when I came to US about 14 years ago, instead of when I was born in India. So he came to awaken our eternal religious, which is bhakti. So we should not just admire Prabhupada. In fact, we should read his book, we should chant, we should follow his recording. It's all over the internet. Whenever we want, we can see. People look for happiness all over the world. They go for rehabilitation, they go for some kind of recreational activities. But again, the real happiness comes, when we chant. And that's what Prabhupada has given us all the formulas, how we can be happy. And we have to just follow his guidelines and, believe me, you will be so satisfied. And again, I wanted to add just one more observation, right? So last month, I visited old Vrindavan in new Vrindavan. And even now the roads are not that smooth. And that time, we were told by the people there, that time about 30-40 years ago, Prabhupada used to walk all the way from the main temple where we see the new temple in New Vrindavan, from there to old Vrindavan. And it was amazed to see, right now the roads are not clean. Again, it's not proper road. There are snakes. We saw snakes when we were going to the place there and where Prabhupada used to live. Snakes, deer, all different type of animals, everything we saw. And there was a small room where Prabhupada used to stay with his disciples. And in winter time, it was so terrible that there was no water, to take bath. So they will break the ice which is on the mountain. They will heat it and then they will get the water so that, Prabhupada and disciples, they can take bath and do the puja. Even in that condition, they did not break the regulations and they were just doing 4 a.m. Mangala Aarti. So why Prabhupada did all those things? So that he can inspire, we can get inspired and learn from him. He lived all his life after 60, 70 years when he came to US, just so that he can awaken the bhakti in the mind of all of us. And today, Prabhupada is not physically with us, but again he is alive, in the form of his recordings, his books and everything, and we should take the full advantage of it and follow his guidelines. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki. So next will be Kailash, followed by Praveen, followed by Dharparian Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So, one of the pastimes that we all are very thankful to Prabhupada, because he gave us so wonderful association of his devotees, and everywhere you go, you find his devotees, and it also gives the purpose of life. But one thing we all we think of like Prabhupada is as like very a person who's just always like giving super philosophical lectures all the time. He's not just like that all the time. He's super humorous as well. So one of the pastimes I want to is one of the kid say during a feast a little boy was devouring sweet balls with both hands, with gulab jamun, and Prabhupada pretending to be stern and said to him, "Careful, if you eat too many, you will become round like a sweet ball." So the boy froze while the adults laughed, and Prabhupada chuckled and handed him another sweet ball, showing him that devotion is joyful, it's not dry renunciation. So these are from Prabhupada Lilamrita. And another pastime is like the Maya stick. Once a child curiously started at Prabhupada's sannyas danda. He handed it over and said playfully, "This is my stick for chasing Maya away. Do you want to try?" The child laughed and waved the sannyas danda as if it were a magic sword. Prabhupada's humor made spiritual ideas approachable for even the youngest hearts. One more, just like a quick thing. So in London, one of the devotees, persuaded Prabhupada to try on a Western suit for a formal meeting. He stood before a mirror, adjusted the tie, and then chuckled, "I look like a monkey dressed as a gentleman." Everyone laughed, and Prabhupada happily returned to his dhoti and chadar. His humor taught that real dignity comes from devotion, not passion. And Prabhupada was a real gentleman at heart. Hare Krishna.
Hare Prabhupada ki. So next will be Prabhu, followed by Dwaipayam Prabhu, followed by Shubhanjali Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So, happy birthday, Srila Prabhupada. And thank you for letting me enter into your home named ISKCON. Certainly I am not qualified, but it's only through your causeless mercy. I had a quick narrative. On this most auspicious day of your divine appearance, I, insignificant servant, offer my heartfelt gratitude. Srila Prabhupada, you descended into this world at a time when darkness covered the hearts of men, and the holy name of Krishna was all but forgotten in many lands. By the order of your spiritual master, you carried the timeless wisdom of the Vedas across the oceans. Without wealth, without followers, yet with a faith so deep, it shook the very fabric of Kali Yuga's influence. You spoke not to impress, but to awaken. You gave not gold or jewels, but something far more precious, the key to our eternal home. Your compassion was like river Mother Ganga, flowing freely for all, regardless of birth, nation, or station. On this day, I remember your tireless labor, your sleepless nights, your unshakable resolve to give Krishna consciousness to everyone. Now, with folded hands and heart full of gratitude, I would like to glorify you in a simple verse. O Srila Prabhupada, ocean of grace, you brought Lord Krishna to every place. With fearless heart, you crossed the sea to spread the Lord's name and set souls free. In cities of noise, your voice was clear. You told chant Hare Krishna that removed all fear. Your books are jewels pure and bright, guiding our hearts to Krishna's light. You gave us service which is sweet and true, a life of bliss, all obeisances to you. Your temples rise where once was none, in every land your work is done. Through snow and sun, through storm and rain, you carried the Lord's sweet holy name. The fallen souls you did uplift by giving them Krishna's priceless gift. On this blessed day, we bow and pray to serve your mission in every way. May we remember your holy feet till in Goloka again we meet. All glories to you, our Master Divine, your mercy eternal, your love our sign. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, once again for letting me enter your home named ISKCON. Certainly I am not qualified, but it's only through your causeless mercy. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ji. So next will be Divya Mataji, followed by Dwaipayan Prabhu, followed by Shraddhanjali Mataji.
It's been 12 plus years since my parents passed on, and as the wound is still fresh, I went through the same roller coaster of emotions with Samanvi and my big boy, Rajendra Kumar. So, yeah, and so there were two things that kept me going in those tough times, and those are, I'm gonna share two verses. Satsangatve nisargatvam, nisangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan mukti. And punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam, punarapi janani, janani shayanam. Iha samsare, bahudit sare, kripaya pare, pahi murari. So one is association and the other is namajapa. So the mental strength I got talking to Gurudev and the devotees here is beyond words. And this happened, and this family, this second home I had because of Srila Prabhupada. And yeah, I will be forever grateful to you all, and I will continue my chanting and read Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So next, Dwaipayan Prabhu, followed by Shraddhanjali Mataji.
Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinare Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisisa Srimad Srila Prabhupada's Holy Appearance Day Ki Jai. So all the wonderful qualities we have been hearing, and as Rasakila Prabhu said, even the best word doesn't justify Srila Prabhupada being the best. One of the qualities, if you want to examine what he taught us, was everything should be first class, first class. There's no second class. Why? We are serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Prabhupada didn't come to find credit. Okay, I distributed a book, hashtag Instagram. It was like that. He never did it. He was hit by a bull, he was pushed or ignored by people, and he got hurt at that age. What can he do? Right? So he was the only one who came here to save our lives. So first class services has to be offered. So, me and Shraddhanjali, along with Kapi Bhavapin, she was doing small, we just mostly doing preaching activities, but then when I got to take the administration over here in 2018, it was devastating. For 1+ years until 2019, I did not read a single page of Srila Prabhupada's books, because management and everything, and learning and new, and worrying what will happen, trying to figure out things, burning all the files out. So yeah, really I know that I did not read Srila Prabhupada's books, and we were only doing preaching, like the rickshaws. So every day Mataji used to come to that, and others, Rota came to that. So, and I was like, oh my God, that was more frustrating. Even though I got the title of Temple President, that wasn't giving me any happiness, because reading Prabhupada's book was stopped. And I was really remembering, thinking, how can I start this back up? Because if this is going to go, then I have to leave this position, and it's not good for me. I don't want this. It is taking me away from the essence of this mission, that is reading Srila Prabhupada's books. So as we know, the third offense is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. What does the orders here mean? Where are the orders of Srila Prabhupada? In his books. So we have to read his books. So suddenly I was praying that this should happen, and then thank God COVID came in a good way. So everything was slowed down, temple was closed, and we did some secret preaching called Thoughtful Thursdays. So we didn't do any Sunday program, but Thoughtful Thursday was going on, Prashadam distribution, however we could do. And all these young students who spoke today, Marisha, Radhika, Abhaj Govinda, Oscar, everyone were coming and sincerely taking the Krishna consciousness very, very seriously. right? Whoever becoming also under these two. So one word in Srila Prabhupada's books, or two words, is always, especially in Chaitanya Charitamrita, what word he says about in this country, these boys and girls. These boys and girls. This you will find in a lot of places. And he was writing this, and he made a priority to write Chaitanya Charitamrita before anything happens to him. That's why his Bhagavatam only goes to Canto 10, 10th Canto, and then his disciples translated the Prabhupada's all those texts from there. So these boys and girls, he had so much faith in them. And I was thinking, Chanajit was thinking that how can we bring that era back here? It's not possible. Prabhupada disciples that never change. But Prabhupada disciples became Prabhupada disciples because of what? Only Prabhupada. Prabhupada says whatever, they will do that. Even Krishna said, don't do it. Prabhupada said, do it, we'll do it. That is the dedication that everyone found. And then trying this very difficult mission to spread Krishna consciousness with the younger generation of today's age, it's difficult because of the social media and the cats and everything, so difficult. But I was surprised to see when they started reading Prabhupada's book, it gave them connection, a real deep connection. Right? So all the different devotees who spoke earlier, they are really studying Prabhupada's books seriously. And to that we also have maintained our reading events. More importantly, it's like Bachukubinda was saying, philosophy is a difficult thing. 2 days of reading. Our Sunday programs are not like a temple program. You come with the Lord and take a picture and then go. It's like a 4-hour workshop. Everything is conducted by different devotees at different times. I don't get to speak all the time also. So every session is conducted in a different way. This is what is pleasing Srila Prabhupada more, to understand what his mood is. So we have to understand his mood, and his mood, to know his mood, where do we find his mood? In his book, that's it. We read books, we share books, we distribute books, and also apply that in our own lives too. So if we had gone sleepless nights, 2 hours of whatever sleeping, right? Yesterday most of us woke up pretty late, but also slept late too. Prabhupada did not do that, right? Like when he went to Fiji once, so the devotees was saying that he came pretty late at night, 2 a.m., and then he's up again at 4 a.m. for Mangalarti. And some of his disciples were sleeping. And Modi Bishop was there too, and he was sharing his memories. Why are you sleeping right now? It's time for Mangalarti. And that Mangalarti, of course, 4:30 a.m. Hopefully one day we will have 4:30 Mangalarti here too. Right now we're doing is a preaching and sharing Krishna consciousness here, so we keep it 6 a.m., make it easy for everybody. So different programs that we are organizing is a step-by-step process which helps us to get to Prabhupada closer in a good range, not so fast. If someone comes to temple, start doing 16 hours right away, and they can also stop doing 16 hours right away too. So this process is helping, and I'm so grateful to all of you who are taking up these roles of doing certain parts. Now, if you could look around the temple here in this room, maybe more than 50% are under 30 years of age, close to 20 years of age, and they are taking charge of this temple. And this is the type of scenario we want to see in all of ISKCON. The young people are taking charge, and because they are feeding the love from Srila Prabhupada, and we cannot ever stay away from his books. So his books are the main key that we have to read as well, not only distribute, but understand that each and every aspect in his in our lives. And one thing Srila Prabhupada always emphasized is that him also being a very humble personality, he can chastise too, but we have to manage ourselves properly, manage our time properly. We just cannot always say, okay, this thing is taking it over me and I cannot do these things. We have to manage. Why? We don't know what life will get, next life. So Prabhupada says to us, this is the only vehicle with which we can transport ourselves next time. So all these teachings are not just sound of good flowery words. Let's become serious. And Prabhupada has given so much, we can laugh, we can cry by speaking about him, but whatever he has taught us, if we don't apply and take it seriously in our lives, then we'll be another person just living our lives and then going through suffering. He has brought the real medicine, right? So let's take it and become more serious and make Prabhupada happy also, make this movement happy. We only have how many years? Only 10,000 years. Don't think it's too much. So every day counts, every second counts. So this memories that we are offering that we are doing today should be done every day in some way, some form. This way will help us to become more close to Prabhupada. He's right there, but if this is far away from us, he's also going to be part of the Homages. So books brings us closer to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
So, we will conclude with Shraddhanjali Mataji.
नमो विश्वपदाय कृष्णकृष्णाय श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशा. Happy Appearance Day to Srila Prabhupada. Whatever I wanted to say, exactly Marisa said. I don't know how it happened, and I was listening to your. I said, oh, exactly that story. Okay, so there is another one. There is so many, but that's what I wrote down everything. So this on the memories of Yamuna Mataji. So this is same thing, mercy. Srila Prabhupada is so merciful, he's so tolerant, and so much humble. So basically, when everyone knows the pastime of Yamuna Mataji, how she met Srila Prabhupada, she came to the marriage of her sister, Janki, and that was the first disciple Srila Prabhupada gave initiation, and Mukunda and Janki got married. And then there was a Janki's wedding. Yamuna was the sister, so she came there, and then she met Srila Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada asked few questions. Said, where you are coming from? She said 3,000 miles away. And she said, he said, any of your family coming? She said, no. And then said, oh, his eyebrow went up, and he said, oh, in India, like when the wedding is there are so many relatives and friends come. And then he said, it's okay. And then he said, but the girl's wedding, that bride's wedding, that family cook for the whole wedding. So he said, it's okay, I will cook. And tomorrow can you come and help me? So she said, okay. Then she goes next day. Next day she went, and Srila Prabhupada gave 5 pounds of maida, white flour, and 2 pounds of butter, and then 1 pitcher of water. And then he said, make dough now. She said, what? Dough? She doesn't know what is this dough. He said, oh, how old are you? She said, I'm 25. He said, in India, there are 5 years old knows how to make a dough. And he said, okay, don't worry, I will teach you. Then he starts making the dough. He made the dough, and then she was telling that like Prabhupada made, I think how many items? 40. He cooked for 40 people, and this kachori was also for 40 people. And then this kachori is very favorite to Srila Prabhupada. So Yamuna Mataji learned from him. And another thing is Yamuna has a nice cookbook, and that she spent 11 years with Srila Prabhupada. Under his instructions, she learned so many. So it's a very nice book if anyone wants to get Yamuna's Kitchen, something like that. Then she, 6 hours. So she said 6 hours Srila Prabhupada could cook for 14 items and then deep fried. And then this is like a whole, and then in between, while she was doing kachori, she wanted break. So she said, Swamiji, can I take a water? Okay, wash your hands. So then again, she was making kachori and said, Swamiji, can I take a break for a cigarette? And then Prabhupada said, okay, wash your hands. So basically she was just like, and then Prabhupada was tolerating her. and mercy also. And then again, Prabhupada giving instructions to her about the 4 regulative principles after the cigarette break. And then she said, okay. And that was her first time meeting Srila Prabhupada. I mean, second day, but first time. So she got all these instructions. And then she was making kachori. That time it was so hard, so she said, "Oof." And then Prabhupada said, wash your hands. So basically, she said, then Prabhupada instructed her that when we cook for Krishna, we supposed to be wearing clean clothes, and we should not be on our own sense gratification. We should be cooking. We are cooking for Krishna, so it is his sense gratification. So while doing all this cooking and everything, Prabhupada was instructing her. So basically, Mataji was telling that it was like 3 things in this for her to learn: is a cleanliness, quality, and purity in the cooking. So these 3 things he was mentioning. So I just wanted to say thank you, Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki